As crypto undergoes a mass correction, there are tons of opportunities in the altcoin world. In this video, we're going to explore Algorand. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe on the way in if you're not a subscriber. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's jump into the video. For context to the video, this was from a couple weeks ago. I talked about the dip, creating opportunities, and how I picked up some Algorand. And we can very clearly see, probably since tweeting that, it's been down even further. And I'm continuing to explore accumulation of this crypto. And I want to dig into the charts. I want to talk about it. I want to look at it, the upside potential for this project. But before I do, just quickly, briefly, because I haven't really covered it on this channel, I just want to go over real quick what it is. Algorand created the pure proof-of-stake foundational blockchain technology designed for the future of finance. Beyond the elementary requirement of an open public network, Algorand's technology enables a set of high-performing Layer 1 blockchains that provides security, scalability, complete transaction finality, built-in privacy, cochains, and advanced smart contracts that are essential in a future-fi world. So interoperability, private and public models, performance and scale, Layer 2 contracts, smart contracts. So doing really interesting work in the landscape of crypto, number one. What I like about them too, though, is y'all know I'm a big Cardano fan, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not exploring other opportunities outside Cardano. But what I do like, I like to see a lot of the Cardano community interested in this project, and it seems like they are. And not only that, there is overlap within projects that are kind of building alongside of Cardano, there's overlaps of those projects with Algorand, and I find that interesting. Here's an example. This is from CardanoFeed.com, and this is what we're looking at. Nathan Kaiser has his hand in many pots, and Algorand seems to be the newest one. Kaiser has a long history in crypto, serving as chair of the Cardano Foundation, chief legal counsel for IOHK, and a chair for the board of TokenGate. So I'm interested to see or dig into his interest in Algorand and his involvement there. His current major role is OccamFi as head of the advisory board. And the article goes on, Kaiser is now setting his sights on Algorand, tweeting today that there will be news to come soon. It appears Kaiser is working with a team on ALGO DAO. And for reference, this was a few weeks ago. I'll put the article in the description. So that's one thing. Milkomeda, this is on adopulse.io. Milkomeda is a novel protocol that powers several leading blockchains, Algorand, Terra, Solana, Cardano, to interconnect, creating a path for the long-term scaling. So interconnect, right? And we see the overlap of these projects. We see how all these blockchains are building and doing different things, and Algorand kind of in the mix of things in that regard. And I like that. And it's also just really cool to see a lot of you ADA holders out there are interested in Algorand as well. And stepping aside from just those things, right? Those foundational things, here it is, number 29 in market cap with a market cap of just over 5 billion. There is a lot of upside for this project if what they do, what's on their roadmap, their goals are achieved. There's a ton of upside from an investment standpoint, and that's kind of something that is very intriguing to me as well, alongside all these other things that we talked about. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about charts. Let's look at the potential upside for context. Sitting at number 29, just over a $5 billion market cap, we've got something like Cardano even sitting around a 30 billion. It's right now almost 30, sitting at 29 billion market cap. You've got Ethereum at $315 billion market cap. So there's upside potential, obviously, for Algorand. And here are the charts. So this is what I want to talk about, the opportunity. And this is just, you can open any crypto chart right now, and the door to opportunity, it's just being creaked open more and more. The lower we go, the bigger that door gets, right? So I've begun accumulating algo, and I'm interested in buying more. I'm just kind of waiting a little bit. The markets are on edge. If I miss the opportunity, it's okay. But I'm waiting a little bit. On the weekly chart, you can see the downside potential to the 30 to 40 cent range. And just out of this rising or ascending channel, to give you context to that, from where it is right now, we're looking at a large dip, around 60%. What's what's important about that, if we go to Bitcoin on the weekly chart, we've been talking about Bitcoin technical analysis, the possibility for around a 50% dip to the 200-week moving average if things get really bad in crypto and we get that volatile capitulation type of deal happening that we've seen. We've seen before, right? COVID swing low back here. We've talked about the bear market low of 2018. If we get a move like that, and Bitcoin's hitting almost 50% to the downside at this area, something like ALGO, an altcoin, very well could hit 60% to the downside. So I think that's a target to pay attention to in kind of this worst case scenario type of atmosphere. But I digress from that for a second, because on the chart, along with Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptos, these are getting very, very overextended to the downside, these coins, right? So here's a stock RSI hit oversold back in December and really just been hanging out down here on the quicker moving momentum oscillator. You can see the MACD has been under zero on the histogram for quite a long time for Algorand, and the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator, has actually been consolidating down since a year ago, and that's very similar to Cardano on the momentum oscillator. So yes, there could be more downside. However, it doesn't seem like it's going to last that much longer in terms of consolidation. Although it could, it's just from my perspective, potentially not so. And the other thing I wanted to discuss on this chart is this. Maybe it takes a while to get to this chart or to this target to the downside. And this is why I wanted to do this video. Is when I'm trying to figure out when to accumulate, I try so hard to have a little patience, right? Even if we get fake out bullish moves, and this is one thing that I'm waiting for on the weekly, you can see we broke this lower trend line that goes back a pretty good amount of time, March of 2020. But on this chart, if you're looking at this, I think before hitting the target to downside, if it were to happen, there would be some type of move to the upside, to the lower trend line. I don't know if that happens sooner or later, this week, next week, a month from now. I don't know exactly, but I could see a move to that trend line. And that's a really key area. It's a conservative area. You know, many people, if it gets rejected there, would put a more conservative short in at that time after rejection. But for me, I'm kind of waiting for that pattern pullback, which we see so often on that chart. On the daily chart, I think this is extremely important to pay attention to. If we look at the Fibonacci that we have here, it is that March 2020 low to this swing high back here around $2.50 in September. And you can see right now, Algorand testing the Fibonacci support area, right? So this support area is probably my best roadmap in terms of these charts. The support area, it is in there right now, is $1.02 down to 62 cents. So I mentioned roadmap because it's kind of like, for me, when it's falling into a support area, especially on the macro, it's kind of like, all right, start thinking of accumulation, because on the long term, this is a really big area that's really kind of showing its face. Meaning price range to get to that area on this macro chart from this $2.50 all-time high is, or I shouldn't say all-time high, but that $2.50 high, right now it's down already 60 to 70%. That just across the board, as a general rule of thumb for crypto, is opportunity zone. Sometimes it could very well go lower. Oftentimes it can, and it will. However, on the macro, if you're accumulating those types of dips, usually on the long term, if you're patient enough, you're winning, right? So this is why right now it's very much on my mind to start thinking about buying, because it is there. And if crypto markets all of a sudden turn around, this 60 to 70% dip that has happened for Algo can prove to be, wow, that was a great opportunity. And a lot of people may be too wrapped up in fear to take notice of it. Now, we do know, going back to that weekly context, there's still downside in play, because we have this downside target in play. So be prepared for that as well. With all of these targets, with all of the potential downside or the potential bullish reversal, this is where we all just have to kind of gather our own thoughts and take our own unique approach to crypto and how we want to accumulate. And that's kind of what I'm working out in my head right now. I understand the risks to the downside, how far it could go. And I also understand the possibility of a pullback to the upside, maybe a bullish reversal for crypto markets, because let's face it, they are very much consolidated on these charts, and the momentum to the upside is there if things decide they're going to turn around. So this is how I make my decisions with all of this information, and what those decisions are, I don't really ever tell you exactly, because I don't want to influence anybody's approach or decisions in terms of what they're doing in crypto. This is all unique. We're all in different positions and situations. So those are my thoughts on Algorand very briefly. Just wanted to put it out there. I'll continue tracking this project. I'm very interested in it. I'm very interested in the charts, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it does in terms of market cap and as the project grows fundamentally. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate you coming by. Hit the subscribe and like. Have an awesome day. God bless.